Hi guys, welcome back. If you followed us along, you know that we preserve our food and try to get it to last us a good long while. This is freeze-dried eggs. We just did this a few days ago. We have not had freeze-dried eggs before. We haven't done anything with them. So we're going to go ahead and do a comparison with the freeze-dried egg. These are raw freeze-dried eggs. So we're going to go ahead and do a comparison with this and a fresh egg, to see what they look like and what they actually taste like. And these eggs right here are preserved in lime water, and we are going to do a side by side of what they look like. These were put in here September 10th of 2022, so it's been a little over a year. We're going to see what that looks like compared to a fresh egg. I think there might be a little bit of a difference, not sure. Then we're going to cook them, and we are going to do a taste test. Cook them and add a little bit of salt so that we just get the actual taste of it and there's nothing else. First thing that I am going to do, these are in lime water, so they're going to have to be washed. I'm only using one of them. Maybe. Open the jar. There we go. And I am going to, because I have an issue of smelling things, it does not smell good, and it's probably the lime. It doesn't smell rotten or anything, it just doesn't smell good. And I'm going to go ahead and hand one of these over. So, well, actually, I'm going to go ahead and take it to the sink because now my hands are. And this one was a small egg, and because it's the lime water that's been preserving them, you want to make sure that you wash these because you don't want that taste of the lime getting into your egg. So I'm just washing it right now. Such a tiny little egg. Alright. So I'm getting all of that solution off of it. Got my hands clean. Alright, so this is our lime egg. And if you're interested in watching a video or having me do a video of how I do my lime solution eggs, go ahead and leave it below. And it's so simple, so easy. Takes a couple of minutes. Alright, so we've got this egg nice and clean. I'm going to put it here just because we're messing with eggs and I don't want to confuse anything. I'm going to go ahead and, since we've got those washed, the next thing that I need to do is go ahead and start rehydrating the freeze-dried eggs, because that's going to take it a minute. I probably should have done that before I got into these eggs. But so to make and this right here has been vacuum sealed, so you see that it just doesn't come off. Let's see if it pops. Oh, did you hear that? Beautiful. All right, so to make one egg, we need 2 tablespoons of the freeze-dried egg. So we got 1 tablespoon. We got 2 tablespoons of the freeze-dried egg. And then to that, let me go ahead and close this back up. And I want to make sure that I wipe my rim, because once I get done with this, I'm going to go ahead and vacuum seal it again. So I don't want it to be taking in any moisture from the air. Put that nice and tight so I can get to it. So I've got 2 tablespoons of the freeze-dried egg here, and to that I've already got 2 tablespoons of hot water measured out. So I'm going to go ahead and put the 2 tablespoons of water in there, and I'm going to go ahead and just scramble it, right? And then we're just going to let it sit while I crack other eggs and get to working on that. I think that's pretty scrambled. At some point, we'll do a comparison of the raw freeze-dried eggs to scrambled freeze-dried eggs already cooked, and we'll see that. We haven't done the cooked eggs yet. Another fork, and I'm going to scramble. This is a fresh egg from one of our chickens. And you see the way that's scrambled. So just from looking at this, I can't even compare it yet. I'm going to let it sit because this needs a few minutes. There's still the chunks in there, so it's not even fair to compare so far. But that's what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and rinse my hands. Then what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take one of these, the lime solution eggs, and right off the bat, it took me quite a few hits to get that egg to crack. And you see the yolk. Now, I don't know if that's because of all the cracks it took or if that's what I'm going to expect. I'm going to do another one. And you want me to do it right in there with this one? All right, I only hit that one twice. And let's see. And so that yolk was intact. So maybe it was just from how many times I hit it. We have 2 eggs in here now, but they're really small. I can actually say that that's maybe an egg and a half. And then to a fresh egg, twice. And that's what that looks like. You do see the yolk much richer, yellow, orangey color. And then these yolks are quite pale. And you might say that's because these are white eggs and this is a brown egg. And yeah, sometimes the white and the brown, you can see a little bit of a difference, but not this pronounced. I'm going to go ahead and not supposed to scramble these. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this one and I'm going to wash it. And we're going to go ahead and open it and see what it looks like. Just washing it really good. Make sure I get that lime solution off. You got to remember though, these eggs right here, it's been a little bit over a year that I put them in the lime solution, and they've just been on a shelf. We're going to go ahead and one crack. That one did one. Let's see. That's what that one looks like.
It doesn't look as pale, but it definitely looks paler.
It definitely looks paler than this one. Guys, I'm going to rinse my hands off again. Probably need to keep a wet towel to do this, but I like to go ahead and use soap and water when I'm dealing with the raw eggs and I touch them. They look about the same. I think that the yolk on the lime water one, I'm going to go ahead and close that, and we are done with that for right now. I think that the white on it might seem a little runnier.
Like yellower too, I would say, whereas the fresh looks a little clearer.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even notice that. So this one is the white on this one is clearer. This one has a little tint to yellowish tint. But you see how I move it around and it's just a lot more liquidy. That's what it seems like to me. I mean, we'll see it when it's cooked. So this one just seems a little, I mean, you have the liquid here, but then you have thick. So the white right here is much thicker, whereas right here we only have that little area of the white that's thicker. So we've had the freeze-dried eggs. I mean, they're scrambled, There's a few little chunks in there, so I'm going to go ahead and leave them a few more minutes just to see. But you can definitely see the color difference in that. That is a big color difference. And we're going to go ahead and fry up these eggs right here. The lime water egg and a fresh egg. And so that is what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the skillet. That white looks pretty good. The egg looks pretty good. I do have a little bit more room, but I think I'm just going to do them one at a time so that everything is just itself. There's no lime water egg on the fresh egg, and we can actually see a good side-by-side comparison. So we're going to go ahead and give this egg a couple of minutes to cook. We're going to let that cook, and then we're going to go ahead and put this one. And I'm using the same skillet and everything. I just want it to be an accurate test here, as opposed to using a different skillet where it might cook differently or anything like that. So for 2 minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and cook this one. And then we're going to go ahead and do our scrambled eggs. And there's still bits in this one, and I'm not really sure why, because it's been...
I mean, it definitely looks more like a fresh scrambled egg now.
Yeah, but it still has little bits in there. And I don't know, those may not go away. So it looks much better, though, than it did initially when we first poured the water in there, but that's to be expected. I'm going to go ahead, I know we're doing a whole taste test here, but I'm going to go ahead and taste this before it gets cold. And that way, did you put salt on this by chance? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put a tiny bit of salt, guys, because to be fair, we said we were going to salt all of them. But it looks nice. It smells just like an egg. Want to grab a fork and you can taste? It tastes good. I would not know that these eggs are over a year old. Tastes good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't taste. There's no flavor from the lime or nothing like that. It just tastes like an egg.
Yeah, tastes just like a fresh egg. Wow. And it cooked like a fresh egg. So let's see where we're at with this one. We're going to go ahead and take that one out. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the next one in. Hang on, I got to put a little bit so it doesn't stick. So that's the limed egg, guys. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this fresh egg into the skillet. And right off the bat, from putting it into the skillet, the lime egg has all this white. The white is all spread out. Where my fresh egg, you'll see when I take it out, the white is just more condensed. It didn't spread out quite like the other one did, which would go with what we've already stated, that the limed egg white looked runnier. So that's where we're at. We're going to go ahead and put that there. Put this here. I'm going to go ahead and bring the salt over for when we salt all these. Once we get the fresh egg out, I'm going to go ahead and put, and now that I'm doing all this, I probably should have had 2 skillets going, one for the fresh eggs and the other for the scrambled eggs. That way it wouldn't take as long, but I'll go ahead and edit out a lot of this, and so you won't be following me along through all this dead time of just waiting. Guys, I just did a video a little while ago about our yogurt biscuits. This is what they look like. So they're just drop biscuits. There's no rolling and cutting or anything like that. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and I'll leave an info card and go ahead and click on that and view that video. But these are just quick and easy. So there you have it. This is what we're going to have with our eggs. So the difference in the color, can you see where they're a little bit more alike now? I mean this is still darker.
Definitely, but I mean, this is still darker.
It is darker, but there is a, I don't know if just because it has been sitting in the water longer, if it's, because look, there's almost no bits. So yeah, it is darker, but you know what I noticed too though? We added the 2 tablespoons of the freeze-dried egg powder to that and 2 tablespoons of the water, and that should make an egg. This is the fresh egg. This looks like a lot more egg, or maybe not a lot more egg, but more egg than that. Can you see that? So, and it could be the difference in the sizes of the eggs, but this one looks a little bit more, so we might get a little bit more scrambled eggs out of that than out of that one. And I would weigh it, but I don't think that that's fair because this egg might have just been bigger than those eggs. So that is the fresh egg that you see me put over there. And without wasting any time, I'm going to go ahead and put the freeze-dried egg in here. Do you want to do it like we did the other one where we just got the one kind of more like an omelet style, or do you want to go ahead and just scramble it in little pieces? I think omelet style is fine. Yeah, I think that's good. Will you grab that fork?
The plate with it.
Put that on this plate?
Yeah, so that you can see it, and then we can have these 2 on this plate.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and... So that's that. So you can look at them closer together. And I'm going to go ahead and grab this one and put it in the skillet. So while that's cooking, guys, what we have here is the freeze-dried egg. Nope, that's not what we have here. That's what's in the skillet. This is our lime solution egg, and this is our fresh egg. And so I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of salt on that. And I think I'm going to go ahead. No, I'm not going to measure it out because it's such a tiny bit of salt. We are going to grab a clean fork, or the fork that we were using to try those other limed eggs. And let's see.
This one may be a little tougher to cut because it looks like it got a little more done on the bottom than this one.
Well, I think it's just because this one was thicker. I mean, you see how condensed. When I put that in the skillet, it just spread out. It just spread out like that. So you have all this white. When I put this one in the skillet, it just stayed like this. So I'm going to go ahead and cut into the yolks and see what we have. Well, not runny, but that's okay. Hubby doesn't like runny. I like runny, but that's what we have on that yolk. And then this is what we have on this yolk. So basically the same.
The color is a little bit paler.
On this one, it's a little bit paler. But for being over a year old, yeah, but that's not.
And the cook process is the same.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and grab it like this. And I'm going to just taste the white. And
tastes like a normal fried egg.
Yes. I'm going to go ahead and grab some of this white. Yeah, it tastes good. This one, because it was just thicker, The taste is the same, but the texture is a little bit different just because this one cooked up like this. So I'm sure if I tasted this thin part here,
it may have a similar.
it would be the same. And it is. You go ahead and you taste the whites and see. And then we'll go for the yolk.
I'm not eating that yolk.
He's not eating the yolk. He doesn't like runny yolks. It's not even really that runny.
Runny enough.
Well, you have yolk on there.
Okay. That tastes like our normal eggs. And so does that.
And so does that.
Yeah.
So now we have to taste the yolk. But let me go ahead and, oh yeah, this egg is done. That one is the freeze-dried egg. And will you grab that fork? And I'm going to go ahead and put the fresh egg in now. And it did spread out more, so we do have more egg in this bowl. And we're going to go ahead and give that a couple of minutes and it'll be ready. And while we're waiting on that, we're going to go ahead and taste the yolk. And so I'm going to go ahead and start with this yolk. This is the lime. And he says he's not going to taste this. I really wish he would because he's really good with flavors and textures and all that, but he doesn't like the yolk. I'm going to taste the other yolk. And the reason I say that is because I normally don't make them with the runny yolk just because he doesn't like it. So I was just cook my yolks more, and so I just put that in my mouth and I really didn't like the taste, but it could be because I'm just not used to it. I do like them, my eggs like this, but I don't make them enough because I try to do them his way. But I'm going to go ahead and taste this one and see if it tastes the same as that one, or if it just...
Okay, did it have a different flavor?
It
did it taste bad? You know how food tastes bad. Did it taste
No, it didn't taste bad like it's bad, but it tasted really strong. Like, tasted like iron almost. So I'm going to just taste this one. Okay, now that's a good yolk.
Okay.
So I'm going to need you to grab your fork, and I'm going to need you to just really try this, because you saw the face I made when I tried that one. And then this egg right here is good. So the whites were the same, but do you, he's making faces, guys. Putting aside that you don't like the texture of the egg cooked like that, give me your honest opinion of taste-wise.
I mean, I think that's what a slightly runny yolk is supposed to taste like. But I don't have like a... I don't notice anything odd about that.
You don't? Okay, we'll taste this one.
Then, but at the same time, I couldn't tell you the last time I had one that was that way, so I don't know.
Okay, we'll taste this one.
Okay, so this has I think this has a richer taste.
Okay.
Like, this one has more of in comparison, has more of a plain taste.
Plain?
Like this seems more like it's just a better tasting egg. I don't see any problem with that. This one over here.
I'm going to go ahead and taste this again.
It just this just has like maybe a fuller flavor to it.
Okay.
I didn't taste any like metallic or anything like that. I did not taste that.
You didn't? I do. I still do.
Okay.
So I thought maybe.
But it could it possibly be the pan?
No, because this one doesn't have it.
Okay.
He's saying could it be the pan because I'm cooking it in a cast iron skillet. But, I mean, so it's not the pan because I don't taste it in this one. I do taste it in that one. I did not taste that in the scrambled eggs, the lime solution scrambled eggs. And I didn't taste it in the white. But on the other ones. Yes. But I do taste I do taste
something in the yolk.
Something in the yolk on this egg. And I say metal or iron, and it's just because I take iron pills, and you know, if you leave the iron pills in your mouth a little bit long, you get that little not so good taste. And I think that's what a hint of that is what I'm getting with that one. And so the reason that we do the lime solution eggs is so that we can have, you know, sunny side up eggs or just fried eggs and not be scrambled. And I think that egg is probably done already. And tasting that, to be fair, I'm gonna have to do more of them. But that little hint of whatever it is that I taste, I don't care for in the fried egg. And normally I add salt and pepper, so maybe that would make a difference. But for fresh eggs, you know, for not fresh eggs, for a year-old egg, I think overall it's good. I'm not 100% pleased with that yolk. At this point, I will try, you know, obviously, I have a whole bunch of eggs to go through. This is only one of the jars that we have. But even if I'm not, even after I tried a few times and I'm not happy with the yolk, that's fine. I'll scramble it because I tried the scramble or the omelet style and it was good. Okay. So,
do you think that would affect if you were to bake with those?
No, eggs? I don't think you could taste that at all in baking because you have the flour and the sugar and the salt and all, you know, vanilla or whatever other flavors you have.
You think just because it's like this, you get that?
Yeah, and because I'm paying close attention to the taste. Well, no, even if I wasn't paying close attention to that taste,
you don't think you'd still notice?
No, I would notice. Oh. I would notice eating that egg. I wasn't. I'm not 100% sold on a fried egg like that from the lime solution. Not at this time. It may change when I make more and I actually put salt and pepper on them and maybe a little bit of garlic or something. But just like that, not, or for me, I mean, you say it tasted fine to you. For me, I don't know. Now this egg was, to me, superior to that egg. You know, hubby does not get that taste. He says it's a good egg, it's edible. So there you have it. That's our opinion on that. And then I'm going to go ahead and just rinse my fork. Actually, I'm just going to grab another fork for both of us just so that we are tasting this. Here's your fork. And I'm going to go ahead and I put salt in them. Good thing he reminded me. All right, so that is the freeze-dried egg, and this is the fresh egg. And this is a lot more, but it could have just been because of the size of the egg. So I'm going to go ahead and cut into that one. And I'm going to go ahead and cut into that one. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut his as well. These are pretty big pieces to be taste testing. I think we're just going to have our biscuit with some jelly or jam on it because we've eaten most of the eggs we've tried. Yeah. So, all right, I'm going to start with the freeze dry. And this is the other side just from the cast iron. Nice looking color there. That tastes delicious. Okay. I mean, it tastes just like the lime solution eggs that we just tasted.
You just
like this, that we scrambled.
Okay.
Tastes just like that. And then this is a fresh one. And that's just a fresh egg. I'm going to have to say that they're both really good. I mean, if I'm going to say something, this egg, the freeze-dried egg, to me, even though we added the 2 tablespoons of water, has a much richer taste. It was like, wow, I haven't had them before, so I'm not really sure if that's what all of them taste like. But that, I thought that one was a little bit more flavorful, but they're both delicious. So let's hear from hubby and see what he thinks.
I think the first question would be, did that seem gritty?
No, it did not seem gritty at all.
You're going from a powder.
No.
Right.
It didn't even occur to me because there was nothing. It just tastes like a fresh egg with a little bit more flavor to me.
Well, and I don't notice really much. I do say, yes, this is a richer tasting egg.
Oh, you got that too?
Yes.
I didn't know if it was just me.
And
interesting.
I'm thinking it's maybe a richer flavored egg because it's a mixture of all the birds, whereas this was just laid, maybe yesterday or the day before. So, maybe there's just that slight bit of difference, and maybe just that one particular bird, where this is a mixture of all the birds because we kind of scrambled them before they got
right. Okay.
So maybe that's where that flavor difference comes from. But
okay.
Honestly, if anybody was to present me with one of those and go, what do you think of it? I would be like, it's a scrambled egg or an omeletted egg, and I would think nothing different.
Right. Because they're just they're good. They're just regular eggs. So there you have it, guys. The freeze-dried egg to the fresh egg
versus
the lime solution eggs.
Right.
Pretty much.
So we have a high-tech version because freeze-drying is high-tech, and we have a low-tech version, I guess, with that.
So, right, because with this, to do the lime solution eggs, you need water and you need the lime powder.
Well, you have to have fresh egg, though. Too.
You have to have, yes, thank you for that. These have to be fresh eggs, and they have to be unwashed. So you can't take store-bought eggs and try to preserve them like this. It will not work. When you buy store-bought eggs, and this could be a whole nother video, but when you buy store-bought eggs, they've already been cleaned and they've been sitting around for however long. So they've been washed. So when they wash them, they remove the protective bloom. When your chicken lays an egg, it has a protective bloom on there, and so that keeps out any bacteria or anything, which is why you can put them in the lime solution and it doesn't penetrate that shell because it has the bloom, that protective layer. If you take store-bought eggs and you put them in here, they've already been washed. They don't have that protective layer. So the lime solution can go ahead and penetrate that. So they have to be fresh eggs. So from your chickens or your neighbor chickens, or, fresh eggs that you can get somewhere. But you always have to make sure that whoever you're getting them from has not washed them. So these were, and if you have chickens, you know that, yes, they can lay pretty eggs like this, all nice and clean, which this is what these were, but then they can get pretty messy. They get chicken poop on them. They get mud on them, so they're dirty. So those eggs we obviously could not use for this, because yes, those eggs are edible and we eat them every day, but we wash them. But if we wash them, we cannot put them in here because we've removed that protective layer. So this is, if you have your fresh eggs, unwashed, clean, fresh eggs, because you don't want to put muddy eggs in here or poopy eggs in here, then you can use the lime solution, and it's just water and the lime. And so very inexpensive to do. You see that? Shelf stable. These have just been sitting in the pantry for over a year, and they're good. Fresh eggs, obviously, we get the fresh eggs from our chickens. We just put them in the egg station, and when we're ready to eat them, that's, we go ahead and cook them up. So like that, your fresh eggs without washing will last for several months. If you wash them, they have to be refrigerated. And once they're washed and refrigerated, they're still going to last. Now, he's saying the high-tech version is because that is a freeze-dried egg. And let me go back to this. This, they say, is good for 12 months, I think a year to 2 years. We've tried it at just over a year. I'm going to go ahead and leave some to try at 2 years and maybe even a little further down the road, just for my experience, for me to know. But that's about the life expectancy of this. So we're going to go ahead and call 2 years. For your freeze-dried eggs, if done properly and stored properly, you're looking at a shelf life of about 20-25 years. So that's a big difference. But that's also a big investment if you do it yourself. Obviously, if you buy freeze-dried eggs, that's also an investment. But this is going to last you a lot longer. The taste, basically all the same. So there you have it. As far as taste and everything, guys, that's it. There you have it. If I come up with anything else later down the road, I might add an info card and add something maybe as to what that taste I got from this on the yolk, if that's changed or anything like that. So if you see an info card, you may want to click on that. But as of right now, this is all we have. And we're going to go ahead and get off of here because I have to get to the freeze dryer and we have to eat. We have not eaten. So I want to thank you for spending your time with me. I hope that you have learned something. If you try this, go ahead and leave it in the comments down below. And I hope that you have a wonderful and blessed day. Till next time.